when I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I
Boom, 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 boom. Y'all best love me forever and ever. It's your boy YM9 Airsoft Special Ops, and I'm back with another update loadout video. Yeah, man, it is 20 to 4 in the morning, so y'all best love me because boy, like, this airsoft stuff is not for the faint-hearted. But I wanted to do this because I was going through the channel, and obviously I've just put out some new videos and stuff recently, and you know, you go and look and watch what people the viewership is actually tuning into, and look at what the comments are really about and stuff like that. And I noticed that the loadout videos were quite a big hit, and I feel like it's just kind of relevant, and I see why it's relevant in terms of people just trying to understand what's the best gun to go for, why that's the best gun to go for, and even just the different budget variances and all these things. But without further ado, I'm gonna focus on what we came here to do. So I'm gonna try and fly through this one because Lord knows my ass is tired, you know what I'm saying? But I did want to make this possible. So I'm gonna start with the basic of the basic. My main gun that I tend to go to, say somebody's just like, oh come, we're gonna go to the shooting range, or even competition based, or say I just want to go and shoot. Like, I'm not trying to do anything too crazy. I don't want to rinse too many rounds. I just want to go and shoot. I want to see what a sight is like. Say they got electric targets or whatever. I tend to go for this bad boy. I'll show you. Cause in my main ASO case. So this is what we call the GTP9 by G&G. Some might say, oh, I know you're a high capper man, why did you go for this? Y'all have seen my journey on the channel with pistols. One thing why I chose this to kind of be my go-to is, first and foremost, it's the only gun I've managed to get a serial number under 100. I don't know if y'all can see that. This is the 57 model. None of y'all don't copy my serial number. So I thought it was almost like a sign to me, because 5 and 7 are both like very drastic numbers in my life. So I was like, bro, that must be a sign. It's my first weapon I've ever managed to get a serial number actually under 100. And anyone who's kind of watched the channel, I'm not going to spend too much time talking over unnecessary things. Anyone who's actually watched the review of this gun, it's the only gun that I've tried to upgrade that I found was better originally than the upgrades. Literally, even my high cappers, like, to be fair, I feel like my SSP2 is kind of like that. However, I've had to make adjustments to get it where this is straight out the box. Because realistically, like, when I'm thinking about it, the only things that I've actually upgraded, and I would say is an upgrade, is and I actually appreciate this about this gun, because the only pistol I've seen do this. You see, in the upper, you normally have what you call nozzle springs. Let me see if I can show you that. You have the nozzle, but you have like a section at the top, which is the housing, and it normally houses a spring either on the left side or the right hand side, and that's what returns that nozzle to basically load the BB and then basically clear the catch so that gas chamber can hit, as well as load the next BB. Those of you who take down pistols, you know what I'm talking about. Anyone who don't know, you'll think I'm chatting gibberish. Every other pistol I've come across, from the Glocks from Vosk to the Glocks from Raven to you name it, like anything you've seen on the channel, this is the first gun I've seen this, because I've tried this with other guns. I wanted the ability for the nozzle spring to be so powerful that there would never ever, in theory, be a time where the nozzle spring would fail me. And don't get me wrong, there's ways around this. Like many companies like Cow and like companies that make stuff for TMs, like the Split Line edition and all these things, they basically made one spring usable to do what I'm saying. And they've even made like roll systems on the new high cappers nozzles just to make sure that you don't really need that spring. But I'm quite a mechanical man. We live kind of in the past, and I like to make the old school work, and even sometimes work better than the new school stuff, because this gun will outshoot most things, if not all. I haven't seen a gun pistol wise on the field apart from, I'm not gonna say the gun, there's only one gun I've seen on the field pistol wise that has outshot this, and I mean as an all-rounder, like reliability, shot per second, because obviously there's faster guns, but this gun is just great. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like some might ask, because as we move through the loadout, I know some people are gonna ask on the channel, so why isn't this your go-to pistol for CQB, or why isn't this your go-to pistol for outdoor use? I feel like this is a competition gun. That's what the like simple answer. I feel like this is a competition gun. It's so light, easy to aim. I've managed to finally work out the hop, and the hop is so perfect. It's like essentially where you aim is where that BB is hitting. So that's why I have it as my main go-to, because I wouldn't want this as a self-protection gun. I don't feel like the recoil is enough for me. I like a gun that kicks, so I know that whoever I'm or whatever I'm trying to defend myself from is feeling this recoil. Was I feel like this gun, it does shoot really hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's like, oh, you don't want to do that. It does shoot really hot. It shoots somewhere around like a 310 mark or 320, somewhere around that mark, which is nice. I just feel like it lacks that, I don't know, man, like call me a savage in it, but there is other weapons as we go through this that when they kick, I know that whatever I'm trying to hit, I'm going to disable it so I can protect myself or whoever's around me. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas with this, like I said, I just feel like it's a competition shooter. It's quick to draw. You know that wherever you point and shoot, it's going to hit. And it runs 2s and 2.5s really well. Obviously, you can shoot a bit up at points. Off my journey owning this bad boy, I've used 3s and 3.2s. I think at one point I even pushed it up to 4s, but I just don't feel like you get optimum performance out of heavy BBs, and you just destroy your internals with heavier BBs. So I would recommend 2.5s, potentially if you're playing indoors 2s. But yeah, it's a really lovely gun. But you see that recoil there, or that return, that's because, so I didn't even finish what I was saying before. This is the only gun that I've seen have 2 nozzle sections that allow you to put 2 springs in, which basically gave me the ability to make sure that there's no time or no situation that my nozzle will fail me. Essentially, I've shot, since doing this upgrade, I've shot probably, let's say maybe about 300-400 rounds, and I haven't had one failure. To be fair, in the beginning I didn't have much failures at all. It was just probably about 6 to 9 months, well, I say, yeah, maybe about 9 months to 12 months into owning this gun, I started seeing failures every so often. It wasn't very regular. It was more like every 300-400 shots, and then a couple months later or a couple weeks later, it was more like every 20 to 30 shots. And when I really took the gun, cause I took down the upper just to work out what was the problem, because like I'm telling you, amazing gun. I had no problems with this. Like the mags worked pretty well. I did end up buying an extender and was cool. That was pretty cool, but they're just not, the extenders are just not very compatible. It's not like you can tap them. The parts are different from the original mag. They're just nightmare in terms of stuff. But that's G&G for you, right? They like everything to be they remind me of iPhone. They like everything to be separate, and you have to buy that part that's different, but we get what we pay for, right? Quality. But yeah, so I did that upgrade because I just felt like it was relevant. Like even now I feel that return. I feel like, yeah, the original return was good on it, but now when I return that, I feel like it's a real, it kind of feels like a real guns return, even though, like I said, it doesn't have the biggest recoil. So yeah, man, for me, all rounder very good. I did say I would do a video where I'd cycle so you guys could hear each gun. So I'll do this quickly because, like I said, it is 4 o'clock in the morning. So like you can see, it allows you see a lot of people was like, oh, short stroke it, there's no need. With that nozzle spring doing what it's doing, and G&G's engineering, I even ended up taking out the short stroke that I did as well, because I just felt like it was causing me problems because the trigger wasn't short stroked as well. With weapons like this, you have to short stroke the trigger as well, whereas with high cappers, most high cappers, all you have to do is short stroke the actual return spring. But yeah, that's why this is my go-to, because like I said, I know that if somebody's like, oh, let's go to the range, I can take this out and I have a great time, because more time I have the adapter, so I've got my HPA plug, and often I've got a MP5 mag that will go in there. If I can find, let me show you guys quickly. Often I have the MP5 mag that goes in there, so I've got the 110 rounds per mag. I'm planning to get some shorter ones because I feel like with this gun I don't really like the extended look. It's alright, but it looks a bit better on the high capper, that extended look. So yeah, like I said, some people might be like, oh, why would you take this one out? I know it will work. All I literally have to do is, like I said, load the MP5 mag, dash my HPI tap in there, and we're good to go. And like I said, I know that like there's different groups of people I go to different events with. So like I said, I know that if one of my high class friends, and when I say high class, I know there's some man that spend like $2,000 on their guns. If I was to link one of those friends with this gun and we went range for a few hours, I wouldn't feel, oh, he's stunting on me, because it holds its fucking own. It's light, it's tight, you know what I'm saying? It keeps up, you know what I'm saying? And the cooldown, you just don't suffer cooldown with this. The biggest thing is you have to, I will always say to anyone, like every 3 to 6 months, just re-grease it, give it a degrease, clean it, just maintain your gun, you know what I'm saying? You look after your gun looks after you. And it's the same if I'm going out with my friends who have cheaper weapons, because it's low profile. It looks slick, but it's very low profile compared to some of the other weapons I own. It's like they won't feel like I'm stunting on them. Plus, it's something that it's hard for them to break, so I wouldn't mind handing it to them and being like, oh, you run around or a quick session with it and see how you feel about it. It's one of the weapons that, like, niggas that come out with me know I treat my weapons like my chicks, and you can judge me if you want, but it's my long fucking hours at work that I have to take and spend my money and make this stuff possible. So when handing a gun to somebody, I'm always careful, because I'm just like, oh, if this motherfucker breaks my shit, that's another $3 bills I've got to find to fix it. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, but with this one, I know it's very foolproof. The biggest thing is they tend to drop the mag where they don't know about that clicky slide function thing. But yeah, man, like I said, it works. GTP9. The biggest thing I would say is long term, maybe when I've got some money next year, maybe like next year summer, I'm gonna try and buy the upgrade, because they do this thing called the SMC, I think it's called the SMC9 or something. It's basically an upper kit that goes on this lower and turns this into a CQB rifle. I would really love to see if it's worth making this a bigger rifle style gun, because like I said, it is quite accurate. The biggest thing I would say about this, and maybe that's why I'm saying about buying the SMC9 upper, is every time I shoot this, I'm left feeling like I wish you could shoot further. But I guess that's why I have other guns in my loadout. Amazing shot, trust me. Like if you're using competition, anything within like say the 20, let's say like the 15 to 20, I'd say at a push 20 meter radius, yeah, you're hitting it, bro. You're defo hitting it, especially if you aim slightly high, you're defo hitting it. My thing is, there's other guns that I have in the loadout, which I'll talk about later. It's like they will hit a man at 40 meters comfortably, and they're pistols, bro. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Which is one thing I'm like, GTP, G&G, you guys missed that just slightly, because I don't feel comfortable, even on HPA, I don't feel comfortable this would hit somebody at 40 meters. I feel like it would hit them at maybe like 15, 20 meters defo comfortably, but I feel like from you start pushing 25 meters, yeah, you're gonna struggle to hit the person. So That's why this more sits as like one of my personal favorites, because it's like, yeah, I'll take it out, but I won't drill it very hard. Maybe every so often it might show up in CQB. If we play like, you know, CQB that's not in the dark. If you play CQB that's not in the dark, I'm likely gonna have this in the bag because, like I said, it's light. I don't have to have much. Like the biggest things that I run with it when I have it is, like I said, the MP5 mag cut makes your life easier, and I tend to run something like this just because you're never really gonna run out. And then obviously I've just got a nice little I don't know, you'd call it material line, 20, I think it's 20 inch or something like that. I'd have to double check it. Or on an average day, let's say it's quick short games, 10-minute games, I'll run something a bit smaller, just so you guys can see. I think this is 13 CI and then that one's 26 CI, just so you guys can understand the difference. And some might be like, oh, you got too many tanks, but it just makes sense. Like I said, if I want to run endless with something like this, I could go to an indoor session and run the whole session and go through 2 of these. If I go to this in an indoor session, I could go the whole indoor session and this still doesn't finish with a gun like this. That's one. Another thing I will say is like the GTP9 is very efficient in terms of how it uses gas, and you don't have to run the PSI very high. I think when I use this, I tend to run it at like 70 at a push 80 PSI. You really don't need to run it very high for it to perform well. Do you know what I'm saying? I know niggas be running their guns 100 PSI and all these things. There's no need, bro. Like there's some, like if you're running an M4 HP like a Wolverine Inferno or something like that, then cool, it makes sense, innit? But if you're running something like this, you really don't need to. Like at times you can push it if you really want to, but I always say to people, like, you're trying to play the game to have fun. You're not trying to play the game to take out somebody's eye, bro. If you're trying to do that, go to real combat. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I tend to just have a test mag because, like I said, that allows me to cycle this without having everything strapped up on HPA. I potentially should show you guys what it shoots like with HPA connected in it, where I've got the tank connected already. So let me do that quickly, just so that I'm not stealing you guys Easter eggs. I know some men are gonna say to me, how you show us the gun and you never show us it fire? So on my average PSI, this is how that would run. Do you see what I'm saying? And some might even say to me, oh, the gas mag sounds better, but this is what I'm trying to show you. It's like some man do the most, but you really don't need to do the most. Like the gun performs like that. Like it genuinely does. Like you might feel like I'm capping, but it genuinely does perform. You know what I'm saying? And why it's shooting like that, because some might be like, oh, it's not meant to shoot like that. It's like, because the nozzle spring, there's 2 of them, the slide isn't having to work as hard. So every time the air goes through it, rather than it having to force itself all the way back just to reload, it's literally going roughly about there. And if I take time and press the trigger, what you'll find is, like with the gas mag, I'll show you quickly, is it does do that full motion, and it's because gas, green gas operates at a higher PSI than the PSI of my tank, but they're achieving near enough the same thing, because obviously the chamber, and this is a little gem for you guys who use gas, because this will go across every platform, G. Like the higher PSI in the gas mag is because every time you shoot, the amount of gas within this mag chamber is going to drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. So they're trying to give you the max PSI so that you can get the best consistency as you go through these shots. Whereas with something like a tank, there's no cooldown, bro. So what tends to happen is your consistency, there's no need to shoot at a higher PSI because the tank and the line and all these things and the regulator can maintain that PSI consistently. Like I said, I could push it so it shoots at 150, for example, because my tank allows me to go up to 230, but there's no need, bro. There's genuinely no need, because like you just saw, the gun performs still. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, say I'm going out and I'm playing outdoors, I might push it to say like 90 just to get the little extra push out of the gun, but there's really no need, brother. I'm telling you, especially because I've used this gun in so many different setups, different PSIs. I've seen the different side. It is nice because G&G, the parts are built pretty well, so I can push this. So you say I run this like at 110, it will be mad competitive. It will be outdoing some people with rifles. If I run it lower, like I said, I tend to do that indoors, maybe like 70 at a push, 60, 70 PSI, just because it will do damage inside if you do too high, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, somewhere between that 70 and that, maybe let's say 70 and 110 at a push is the nice sweet spot. I would say 90 is probably the sweetest spot, because then the slide is getting the full kickback, similar to the gas mag, but you're not pushing the gun too hard to do any damage to anybody. And then, like I said, I've got a speed loader in there, because obviously these mags, they're a bit weird. It's like it has no thick chamber for you to fit the BBs in that way, so you tend to like just pull this down and it locks into the bottom, if it will work for me. I think I've done all of this in a video anyway, so I won't spend too much time. Plus I've probably worn it, but you see it locks, and then I tend to just chuck that over the top, feed, and then we're done. And then you can release that and you're good to go. But yeah, man, my go-to, I just feel like it's a good weapon. It's straight out the box. Like I said, those are the only updates I've done apart from buying the MP5 adapter, and that one's from AirTac. I had to pressure them for a quality one because they sent me the wrong one, but that's a story for another day, because I have good times with AirTac and I have shit times, you know what I'm saying, with AirTac. So story for another day. We're going to keep the ball rolling. So that is basically, some might say, oh, what loadout is that? That loadout is essentially, like, I call it my personal loadout because it's not for CQB, it's not for outdoor shooting. It, like I said, it's more one of those guns. It sits around most of the time, I'm not gonna lie to you. However, there's the odd occasions where people are like, oh, let's go to the firing range, and I'm like, yeah, I'm bringing the GTP9. Or there's times people are like, oh, we're going to the CQB session, and I'm like, all right, I'll bring one of my CQB guns, but I'm also gonna bring the GTP9 because I want to play half the session with that, because it's a really good fun gun. I just prefer, you want honest truth, I prefer playing with it at, like, let's say we go to the firing range to do drill training. It's perfect for that, bruv, because it's light, it's efficient, and it shoots on target. If we're playing, there's a site called Black Site where it's like outdoors, but it's CQB, perfect for things like that, because you don't necessarily need to run tracers or anything like that. You still get a good gameplay out of the gun. So yeah, but we'll keep it moving. CQB time now. With CQB, I've come accustomed to very much love that side of airsoft. Before, for me, it was a skirmish thing through and through. Like, nobody could tell me nothing on the skirmish thing. However, I've come accustomed to love CQB quite a lot. So I have 2 loadouts for CQB. And some might be like, oh, why do you have so much guns for CQB? It is only 2 guns for CQB, just to be clear. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the pistol side of CQB, for those of y'all who are on what I'm on. So obviously, you know me, I have to have the whole kit, because I hate going to a site, using a gun, something goes wrong, and then you don't have something that you need. So I will work my way backwards. I tend to have a backup tank, just because before I had the bigger CI tank, I used to have to run both these bad boys just to get through that whole session. But 13 CI times 2 used to allow me to run. The session would start at 6, I think it was 6, and then it ends at 10. So that should show you, like, the 13 CIs, they hold their own. The problem is they're so small that if you use anything other than a pistol, yeah, it's just not gonna last too long. So if you're like an M4 guy avoid this bad boy here. You want something probably, or else you're gonna have to fill up each game. You're gonna want something probably 26 CI upwards. Do you get what I'm saying? But my CQB loadouts or my pistol loadouts, it's perfect. Like, it's perfect. I tend to get like 1 or 2, maybe even 3 games depending on how I shoot and what PSI my regulator set. I obviously have a mag because you'll see like everything in these loadouts are MP5s. Like this one, if it will go in MP5, do you get what I'm saying? And that's the again AirTac. I think this was the Gen 1 that they sent me, but this thing fucking broke on me. You'll see the footage just on the channel. Broke at Mayhem. Like, I was running, I slid and I hit a container, and yeah, this thing just cracked to shit and just would not hold any mags. I managed to get it to hold mags, but yeah, I don't really use it as a playable system. I more use it as like a backup, because like you can see right now, it's a problematic thing. Sometimes getting your mags out of it can be a fucking nightmare. Boom, it's come out. But it's handy to have because there's times where something might break on my actual adapter and I can just go, all right, there's one right there. I switch this part over, boom, and my thing is active. I tend to have tracer BBs at any given time because this is a CQB loadout, and most CQB places, they are dark and tracers are very useful, so you can see who you shot, where you're shooting, if your gun's even shooting straight. So I tend to have green or red BBs at any given time. I'm currently in the process of testing red BBs. That's why I've got these bad boys, because some might be like, oh, we ain't seeing you shoot none in no gameplay, why have you got them in that? Like, it's because I'm currently testing them just to work out if I'm gonna go over to red BBs. I'm trying to find signature things at the moment for my channel. So we'll keep you updated on how that goes. I also have a big boy speed loader. I think this one holds 300, don't quote me on that, possibly, I think it's 150. So I think this one holds 150. Again, handy for CQB just in case, because there's a lot of time people might run milsims, and what milsim is basically, or my understanding of milsim is that they like you to run the game in the format of how your gun would actually operate. So yeah, we like to have these MP5 mag adapters or these M4 mag adapters, but there's some sites that they'll have like a event where it's like you can only use your normal mags that hold, say, 23 or 30 or 32 or 27, depends what gun it is, 21, or, you know what I'm saying? So I tend to always have at least 1/2 gas mags, because in those situations it's like, all right, put the adapters away for the day and just run some gas mags and see how we get on. And it can be very fucking fun, I'm not gonna lie, especially during the reloading process. It's just annoying because you have to have enough mags to be able to put up a good gameplay. So on those days, like, say I know that's what I'm gonna go into, I tend to grab the 2 mags that's with this, and then I might look around, because I've got other high cappers, I might pull those mags in with me, and I'll end up with, like, say 4 or 5, or at a push 6 mags. There's something flying around my room, bruv. I'm sure I'm seeing something fly around the bloody room. And me, I hate nuts, you know, and I'm not trying to get bit up. So if you see me swing across the camera, guys, I'm not fighting spirits. But yeah, like I said, gas mags, I don't want to go too much into them, because some people might be like, oh, you got different configurations of mag plates and different configuration. Oh, that's a story for another day. If you see me at a site, ask me why I do that. I tend to also have this little clippy tool because it's so useful. If you are like me, who sometimes you cut your nails very short and that's the day you go to play airsoft, it's nice to have something that you can literally just put around the mag like so, pull it down, and then you can fill with your speed loader. Fill, and you're not having to scripts up your hand, damage up your fingers, or none of them things there. So that's why I've got that little tool thing. I think this one was printed by Kieran from Kent Combat Store, so big him up for that one. I tend to also have a little utility box. If y'all know me, I'm Mr. fucking gadget, bruv, when it comes to this airsoft stuff. So I tend to have my because useful, man. Shit happens on the airsoft site, and often you find yourself having to make adjustments depending on the different styles of gameplay, or if something gets damaged that day, or even if nothing gets damaged, like sometimes you just have to adjust your loadout that day to fit what's going on or fit the position you're having to play on your team. So yeah, I have a tool that basically locks and tightens the adapter thing on the end of my barrel, and then I keep a screwdriver because it's handy to have a screwdriver, especially a little baby one. Got a little Allen key because that it adjusts one of the parts on my my scope, on my flashlight, and on my adapter, my MP5 adapter. Again, more adapters, and then I always keep a backup bucking, because boy, the worst thing you want is your original bucking to damage mid-game and then you can't continue playing, because once your bucking's gone, yeah, it's a long day from there. So I tend to, whatever bucking I'm running in that season, I tend to keep a spare one. I'm not gonna tell you what bucking this is, because then I'll be giving away my trade secrets. You guys have to pay for that when I do the custom builds, and that's when I'll give away the trade secrets, because you paid for it. Yeah, okay, boom, I'm gonna go into this and then I'll go into the weapon. I've got a tracer, which is the T238. This is the mini, or the nano, I think is what they call this one. T238, great company. Again, not getting paid to promo, so I'm not gonna say too much, but the tracer I've currently got on the gun, it works. It's fucking good, I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably one of the best tracers I've bought to date, and most reliable to date. The problem I have is, and anyone who owns a fucking pistol and a big tracer will understand this, because they've been through it themselves. Sometimes I aim and I've got sights on the gun. So obviously there's a front sight and there's a back sight. Now you see, when you've got a massive tracer on the end, especially them like massive ones, what tends to happen is when you aim down sight, your what would you call them, your solid sights, let's call them that, your solid sights, it's like the tracer at the end is covering your solid sights. So it's like often you're having to aim and guess your shot until you see where the BB goes and then take the shot properly. So I found a little hack, which is get a smaller tracer, which means that when I aim down sight, I'll still have a tracer, amen to that, but I'll be able to look down my sights and actually aim properly with my hard sights. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the aim of this. The problem is I'm missing the adapter. I think it's 16 millimeters. This adapter is, and my current adapter is 14 mil. So I'm waiting for an adapter to come so I can chuck this on the gun, and then in theory this gun should be good for the moment. There's a few upgrades I want to do over time, like hop up, buy upgrade hop, put a tight bore barrel. I'm just running a standard barrel at the moment, but the gun runs so well that it's like at this stage I don't want to do too much to it, because I feel like the configuration is almost perfect. Like literally I probably only want to change 2 or 3 things at most on this gun, and then I'm finished. I'm gonna literally just leave it like this forever. Every time just repair it, just leave it like this, because you know, when you find a good configuration, sometimes it's just not worth pushing the gun any further. It's just worth keeping it that way. And I feel like this is probably the first high capper that I built that I'm like, ooh, I don't feel like it's worth pushing any further. Like I said, maybe just a tight ball barrel, and then a couple little spring upgrades here and there, and then I'm finished with this bad boy. But without further ado, I'm gonna show you, because I feel like I'm doing bare chatting, bare promo chatting. So this is the bad boy I'm talking about. This is the Vosk 5.1. I call her my 5117. She's basically just a standard 5.1 high capper, but yeah, I tried to upgrade her. She's short stroked. She's running an upgrade bucking. She's running a slightly longer barrel than what they sent. Obviously I gave her a nice little paint job, you know what I'm saying. I wanted her to look cool. Gave her a little high capper hub band, gave her a nice little flashlight, lovely little thing. In gameplay it does miracles to blind the enemy and confuse them. I'm running also with this gun an adapter from AirTac, again like you can see broken again from gameplay. So again I'm waiting on them to send me another one, because apparently now they owe me a reinforced version of this. So like you see Gen 1, Gen 2, and we're waiting on Gen 3. Hopefully they fucking get it right on this occasion, which is very interesting. Gen 1, Gen 2, obviously I did the spray paint work, so I don't want nobody to go on their website complaining, oh I can't find that colorway. It's me that did the colorway. But again, and do you know what the interesting thing was with when this broke is? They broke at the same place. AirTac, please explain to me, are you lying to us about Gen 2? because it literally broke at the same place. If you have a look, yeah, where this broke, it cracked across, and where did that crack across and across, and again, where did it crack across and across? So please tell me what was the upgrade? They're claiming the plastic was upgraded, but yeah, I'm saying even the O-ring, it was me that put that green O-ring, so it's not them. Like, the thing literally looks the same. So please tell me where's the upgrade? Even the nozzle looks the same. Yeah, I'm saying where the thing, well, okay, there's a slight difference to where that is. Yeah, the gap is a bit different to where that is, so maybe there is a change. But yeah, and to be fair, one thing I will say is, yeah, this is still functional. Now that I put the thing in and rare, it's functional. Like, that's no cap. I can chuck in the gun right now and show you it works still. And even though this one's broken, it still works. Like, I use it for gameplay. I'll show you quick, and it works with both mags. So if you notice, it works. It's solid. It's in there, and I can release it, no problem. So it's why it's currently in the gun coast, the one that I'm using, and it's the same with the blue one. It works perfectly fine. It actually works perfect with this one, and then releases perfectly fine. So often that is the setup that I run with, because it matches. Or like I said, I'll run with this one because it gives it like a little difference in color. It's like a little mixture of the black and the blue and the, yeah, I'm saying, all the turquoise, should I call it. So yeah, this is my 5117 high capper. And then obviously I've got the T238 tracer. I think that one's called the light. And like I said with this, just so you guys can see what I was talking, if I aim down sight, it's like the tracer's blocking the front of my sight. Whereas with this tracer, if you see the difference in size, it's so much smaller, so it's like it won't block my vision. So that's the idea behind that. But yeah, man, it's a lovely little gun, and I'll tell you what, I'll show you how this one operates, because the short stroke on this one is really nice. Really nice. Yes, it's safe.
Fireworks going off like
okay, so I need to top up the gas on that one. Give me 2 seconds. Let me top up the gas so I can show you guys properly. Yeah. My neighbors are gonna hate me, but hopefully this YouTube stuff will make me famous. Give us 2 seconds, peeps. And it's probably good that I need to top this gas up, because these gas mags, you want to keep them safe, and how you keep them safe is you keep gas in them at all times. So it's probably where I've shot this mag quite a few times and then forgot that I've done that and not topped it up. So let's go again. So yeah, so if you see, I'm not gonna overdo it because obviously it is early hours of the morning, but you can see the return on the gun is amazing. I could probably, I went out, there was a day I played at Future Survival, and there was a guy specifically for about 4 rounds in a row. He had a honey badger. Now anybody who knows that gun, it's a bloody amazing M4, bro. Especially for CQB. And there was about 4 or 5 occasions where I ran into this guy, and like, he couldn't even get off 1 shot at me, but I'd shot him 5 times just because of this bad boy. It lets off shots really quickly, and it's just because, well, I'm not going to tell you why, it's just because of, because again, I'll be giving away my trade secrets, and guys, this is why you guys pay me to tech. I'm meant to find the hacks for you guys, so that's that. But yeah, an amazing gun. I'm not trying to rush past it, but it does what it says on the tin. I'm gonna have a lot of videos on the channel moving forwards with this bad boy, because obviously this bad boy is how would I explain it? This bad boy is due to, well, it is gonna be the main CQB weapon. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a pistol man when it comes to CQB, but yeah, just keep it locked. Keep it locked. You'll see a lot. Like, to be fair, you probably gonna like have seen content with this weapon anyway, because I've got some stuff we recorded recently over the last month or 2 at Future, and it was this weapon. It wasn't this variant of the weapon, because I did upgrade since. Like essentially everything internally isn't Vosk anymore. So, well, apart, yeah, that's partly the truth, partly a lie, because the housing the spring. There's a few things that are still bosks, but I'm gonna change all of that soon just to get the maximum output out of this gun. I feel like it's banging, but 1 or 2 more things would make it perfect. So yeah, that's it. CQB part 1. So let's get that out of the way. So we're through, how many loadouts have we gone through? We're through 2 loadouts. So there's one more CQB loadout, and then we're gonna go into the finale, which is my main loadout. Maybe I should pause this video here, but if you keep running, let's keep running. So the next weapon I want to show you is my CQB rifle, because like I said, CQB for me is the thing I'm championing this year, because I just love it. It's fun, it's good, and if the sight is a good sight and not mad humid, shade I'm throwing at someone specifically, yeah, you can have a great time. So my second or third loadout, but my second CQB loadout is my M4 loadout. This one is a cheap build. The body is a combat machine body from G&G. Again, some people are gonna say to me I'm doing bare G&G promo, but their guns are good guns, you know what I'm saying? But this is a rebuild. This is something I built myself. The body is a combat machine body, but the internals, everything has changed. So again, I'm not gonna bore you guys. I feel like this is one of them ones where I'm gonna say, right, just see me at a site and ask me all those questions then. So yeah, like I said, the body is a combat machine body. I think this is from the Gen 2 or 3 variant. I've seen quite a few of them. They're short, long barrels. This is from their mid barrel range. I've changed that. Like everything is basically not stock anymore. So this isn't stock. The outer rail isn't stock. The inner outer barrel isn't stock. All of the attachments ain't stock. The charging handle ain't stock. The buffer tube ain't stock. That isn't stock. Like everything. This is basically my Terminator gun, because this is from an LT35. This is a generic. Again, these are all generics from different companies. This is from a UTR 556 long barrel. Again, UTR 556 long barrel. This is again some conjunction I built for myself because I feel like it was lovely to have a flashlight. This was probably my first encounter, to be fair, with flashlight. Like you can see, it does its thing. Or I can just switch it on permanent when I'm clearing areas. Lovely little weapon. Again, I'm not gonna overdo it. Like, it's a banging little gun. I feel like, again, this is something you're gonna have to see on the channel, because I don't wanna over brag on a gun. Like, the gearbox is aftermarket, the spring is aftermarket, but this will, like, do you know what, I will brag on this gun a little bit. This will outshoot most you niggas out there with good guns for CQB. Like, I would, this gun I've probably spent, let me not lie, all in all I've probably spent maybe, do you know what, I would have to budget that up at another point, but I will say this gun is cheaper than a honey badger, and this gun will probably outshoot a honey badger. And you know what, so that people know I'm not capping, let me just show you what it looks like quickly before I do that. So there's long magazine variant. I tend to run that when I know it's going to be a longer game card that holds 120 or 130 if I'm correct. And then on the shorter games, or a game where I'm more playing speed gameplay, I tend to run this shorter mags, but I've got 2 of them. I think they hold 90 each. I think, if I'm correct, 90 or 70, one of them. So yeah, she's pretty. She's so pretty. Even the hop, everything essentially is aftermarket. Even the hop. You know what I'm saying? You can see this is not a combat machines gearbox, no, you know what I'm saying? But combat machine, to be fair, even if you did leave your combat machine stock, it would be a banging gun. It's just me being extra. Like, I want the little extra competitiveness car. It's a banging little gun. I could sit here and tell you all the amazing things about it, but it's just long. I'm not here to brag. Like I said, it was just heavily requested. People was like, oh, like, we want to see an update. You did the update for the end of last year. You did the update for the start of the year. Like, it's almost pulling into the end of the year. Show us what your loadouts look like now. So I was like, all right, give me a second. I'll try and make that possible when I got some time. So this is essentially what I'm trying to do now. So this is on semi, guys. It's so responsive. So responsive. I'm going to do it one more time for you. So responsive, and it sounds so beautiful as it squeezes off. And then auto quickly for you guys. And keep in mind, I said to you, this gun is cheaper than a honey badger. But I know people gonna comment and be like, oh, how the hell, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Guys, if you put the right things with the right things, you get a good outcome. And I can honestly say this because I have, like, do you know what, niggas need to put respect on my channel, boy. Like, I've taken L's. I've spent big budgets trying to test things and projects that just didn't work out, and it was because at the time there was just things I didn't understand. I was new to airsoft, I was new to electric, I was new to gas, I was new to bolts, I was new to all of it. But as you go through things, you learn things, right? You might find a gem here and there. And again, over my journey with electric guns, I've probably broken 2 or 3, maybe even 4 electric guns, but I've also had probably about 50-60 successful projects for other people, as well as about 20-30 different successful projects for myself. So as you go through things, you find things, and I managed to find things that when you put them together cheaply as well, very cheaply, when you put them together, they work very well. Like, this will probably, oh, I don't want to brag on it, but this thing will probably outshoot, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, most CQB sites, when I go there and I bring this out, they look at it and they're like, oh, it looks nice. But it's when we get out onto the field, they're like, fucking hell, bro, what's inside that? And I'm like, gee, you don't understand. It's just, it's not even it's not expensive parts, it's just putting the right things together. Put the right things together, you get a great outcome. And for me, yeah, when I take this bad boy out as well, I know that I'm gonna dominate that night. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's why I said, now you see why the CQB loadouts are set up how they're set up, because they're set up, I wanted to make something that's like, when I go to place, people know about us. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's that, without further ado. And to be fair, I also wanted to build things that, like, I found myself in this place in airsoft where I was just building for the sake of building. You know, sometimes it's like somebody who drives cars. You'll buy new engines and you just find yourself on this endless journey of upgrading. With both these weapons, this and the 5517 and even the GTP9, it's like I wanted to just get the guns to their peak, so that, like I said, the biggest job I have long-termly using these guns is just maintenance and keeping them in good nick. You know what I'm saying? Even I can see, even now, like recently I basically went to the shop and you might be like, what's in this? Obviously my batteries. It's nice to have backup batteries, because obviously it's an electric gun. Again, I've got other things in here, battery charger and rare little 10 boys stickers and stuff like that. But yeah, I basically went through this thing recently where obviously Evolution and who else, Specnar, and there's a couple companies, Lancer Tactical, they're releasing some banging new guns, and I was starting to get the ick where it was like, oh, I want to upgrade, I want to switch gun. And do you know, one thing I found interesting was my 5117, the Vosk pistol, is at such a good place that I couldn't find a gun that would outshoot it straight out the box. So I was like, there's no point upgrading. I'd literally be spending money just to be able to review the gun, which at points I will do that for you guys to do giveaways and stuff like that, but it's just not that time. And it was the same with this. It's like I went and I did use Evolution guns and some of the new Double Eagle guns, and G&G's dropped this whole new line, and there's a few companies that's doing bits, bro. Even Vosk just dropped the VMP2, which I found very interesting, because they basically took the SMG gun and turned that into a long barrel rifle, which and the DMR and a sniper version, which I was just like, wow. But I still found myself in a position where I was like, I'm keeping my guns, like they're sick, I don't really want to change them, which put me in a position asking myself, well, not, it ain't even a bad thing, it's a good thing, I'm saying, you know, put me in a position where I was just like, why do airsoft companies keep changing stuff? Because if what they'll do is eventually almost like outgrow the market to the place where people just stop buying from them. Because I know there's people who are always going to want to follow the trend, or upgrade and buy and switch, and even me at times I will do this. I run a YouTube channel, right? We've got to keep up with the times, but I really feel like they're missing the fact that there's people who want maintenance parts. In a year's time, I'm gonna want this to be able to keep up with something that shoots 36 rounds per second out the box, because in a year or two's time, this is where the guns are gonna be at. Don't get me wrong, this will come close to that. This is, I think when I tested it the other day, this was at like something like 26 or 29, so I'm not far off it. And maybe through skill set and how I play and my team and all these things, I'll be able to dominate anyway. But my point is, it's just like what most of these companies shouldn't be doing is bringing out new lines of guns. People don't really want new lines of guns. It's why these guns are sitting around in the gun shops. What people want is maintenance and upgrade parts that actually work, because people will sell you upgrade parts, but they tend to fuck your gun up and make your gun worse. It's why, like I said, you've got to know what you're doing just to be able to calibrate. Because I'm still in the process of, as much as I've built this short barrel gun for CQB, I'm in the process of building, or still trying to find the nice enough calibration for an outdoor electric rifle. I've got a sick template to work with, I should in theory show you guys that, but I'll show you guys that in another video, because it's not where I want it yet. Do you get what I'm saying? It's probably like 30% built. Like, it's up, you can see the gun, but it's not where I want it to be. It's at 30% of what I want it to be. But yeah, so that's my CQB M4. And then obviously it's the same thing. I tend to run the T23 light tracer, because it's just sick. It's just sick. It works well, especially on a rifle of this size. Plus it looks cool on there as well. See what I'm saying? It looks really cool. It makes the rifle look almost sci-fi. So yeah, that's that. And then obviously I got my little keychains. I know some people are gonna ask. I've got the little Black Ranger, and then I've got me Jordan 1s, more than one. Anyways, let's go. We are pulling into the last bit of this video, so this bit I'm probably gonna stop and separate, just so that it makes more sense, because this is actually my main loadout. So we will be done after this. Why does the case not want to close? You don't want to close for me? You don't want to close. I think it's the padlock that's doing that though. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed so far. Sorry if I'm waffling at points, because like I said, my ass is tired, real tired. So it has been a struggle to even get to this point of the video, but we love airsoft, so we do this for y'all. But yeah, I'm gonna snip this part of the video and we'll go into the next setup in a second.
Move, get it. Passing me twos. I'm rolling mine, she like how I move. She passing me twos. I'm rolling mine, she like how I move. She passing me twos. I'm rolling mine, she like how I move. She passing me twos. Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting. That young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I